Hello guys and gals of the internet. I am the 7chaos of YouTube and Twitch TV as always, and I am so giddy with excitement right now as well. We are finally at the day of the 7chaos previous episode for Tekken 7, and boy am I excited right now. I have been waiting for this day for what feels like forever, because as you may be aware, Tekken 7 has actually been out for 2 years already, at least in Japanese and South Korean arcades, I believe, for the most part. But finally, in just under 9 hours, 8 hours, 56 minutes and 52 seconds and counting to be exact, the Europeans and the Americans will finally have Tekken 7 in their hands for the first time. Oh my god, when this game was announced, I think it was E3 last year, to have its release date, I looked at the screen gushing at how good the graphics were, and then the release date came up and basically my heart just sank because we had to wait another fucking year for this game to come out. But finally it's here, and the reason I am so excited is because Tekken is like Sonic the Hedgehog to me. Basically, I have owned pretty much every Tekken game that has ever come out. Tekken is like Sonic the Hedgehog, is one of those series that I've owned almost every game for. The only two I haven't owned was the original Tekken 1 and Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection for the PSP, which I never owned that console, so I never even knew that Tekken Dark Resurrection had actually existed on the PSP until like much later. By that point, I think the PS Vita came out. I never really owned one of those either. I think I had one and didn't really like the feel of it, so I kind of traded it back in. But anyway, Tekken 7. Oh boy. Like I said, I've owned pretty much all the Tekken games apart from 2. My love for Tekken pretty much started from Tekken 2, which is a very, good starting point. That's the starting point for a lot of players. Mine was Tekken 2 with fights against my mom, who kept beating me with Junkzama and her amazing throw. And pretty much my love for Tekken started from there. Now, Tekken's 2, 3, 4, and maybe even 5 as well, those kind of games didn't really have online play. Online play didn't really exist as much as it does now. So, in those early Tekken days for me, it was all about unlocking all the extra characters and all the ending movies in the arcade mode, and maybe some extra stuff as well. Tekken 3 actually started with some story with Tekken Force, which actually unlocked another character. I believe it was the Doctor or Gun, which is 2 of the most broken Tekken characters to ever be released. I'll probably talk more about that a little bit later. Tekken 4, I would say Tekken 4 was probably my favorite. I think Tekken 4 was probably my favorite in the Tekken series, aside from Tekken 2, of course. Tekken 2 as a starting point, but I think outside of that, I'd probably have to say either Tekken 4 or Tekken Tag Tournament 1. And Tekken Tag Tournament 1 was just a game I wanted to own so much, because I think it was near enough a launch title for the PlayStation 2, and it had every single Tekken character in it, and I just loved the feel and look of that, so I had to buy it. Unfortunately, with Tekken Tag Tournament 1, funny story actually, it was one of those discs that was purple. I'm not sure what it means, but I don't think it was an actual console CD. I think it was like something else. It was one of those purple discs, and I always had a theory with the PlayStation 2 and those purple discs that the purple discs actually broke the console. It kind of wore out the disc reader and things like that. It was a strange theory I had back then. But Tekken Tag Tournament 1 was just like one of my favorite games ever, and I just loved that game. And then obviously I got Tekken 5. Tekken 5 had the story mode including Jane, which I think I completed, but I don't remember really going into it that much. And with Tekken 6, I barely really played the game. I'm not sure why. I guess... No, I really can't remember that. That was because that was so long ago. Believe it or not, it's actually been 10 years since Tekken 6. It has been that long already. Namco, I think, since Tekken 5 came out, I think they've kind of slowed down with the releases. Tekken was always a year or two release up until about Tekken 4 or 5, and then it started to come out much slower. It's been 4 years since between this game and Tekken Tag Tournament 2, so it has been quite a while since the last Tekken game, regardless of which one was the more mainstream one with Tekken 6 or Tekken Tag Tournament 2. It's been quite a while. But oh my god, it has felt like forever since it was announced. And like I said, the South Koreans and Japanese, they've already had this game for 2 years. So there is that. Tekken 6, like I said, didn't really play that much. So yeah, that's pretty much my Tekken series in a nutshell. I didn't really focus on the online play of Tekken 6 because the netcode was pretty bad. And with Tekken Tag Tournament 2, I've actually covered that before, actually, on this channel. I actually covered it on release day of Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on the Xbox 360, and that went well. I ended up rage quitting the game, more or less, because Jun Kazama was almost unbeatable, and it just brought back horrible memories of Tekken 6 and Azazel. That guy, even with my mains of, say, Paul Phoenix, or King, or Steve, I couldn't beat Azazel with any of them. Anybody at all in the cast with Tekken 6, I couldn't beat him as. So I was like, no, I'm not playing this shit. I kind of dropped the game. I still kept it, but I didn't really play it much after that horrible experience. And the same was with Tekken Tag Tournament 2. I just couldn't take it. But as you may be aware, I actually covered it twice since. I actually did a Fighting Game Madness back in 2013, which involved Tekken Tag Tournament 2, Tekken Cross Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 4, and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I did alright in Tekken. I think I won a few matches. The one that stuck out to me was actually the match right at the end against a Panda player, and I was actually 2 down within like a couple of minutes, and then somehow I managed to pull it out and win the match. That was incredible. With Tekken, I then let it return to Tekken Tag Tournament 2 for, it was the PlayStation 3. I had the PlayStation 3 version of Tekken Tag Tournament 2 because at the time I had this weird thing that maybe I bought Tekken Tag Tournament 2 on the wrong console, because as you know, Tekken was a PlayStation exclusive series up until about Tekken 6. I think Tekken 6 was the first multi-platform game to be released Tekken-wise. I think it came up for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. And I kind of thought, with Tekken Tag Tournament 2, maybe I kind of bought it on the wrong console. It was a weird kind of thought process at the time. Obviously, the real truth is that it really just patched the game and made Jun Kazama a bit more bearable on medium difficulty. Because, as you know, on release day, I faced Jun Kazama in medium difficulty, and she was almost unbeatable. Not as bad as Azazel, but still pretty bad. And obviously, then, I think it was last year, I actually covered Tekken Tag Tournament 2 again when it was on backwards compatibility for the Xbox One, which I since don't have anymore because I don't need one, because most of my stuff is on PC now anyway with the cross-buy and things like that. So I didn't really feel the need for one. So that was kind of the last time I covered a Tekken game, and this is going to be the first time since then that I'm actually going into it. Now, as you probably would have guessed from that kind of introduction, I do have a very sorted, stored Tekken history. But doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be very good at it. Because unlike the Americans, I live in the UK, obviously. And in the UK, we weren't really known for having kind of arcade fighting game cabinets or fighting game tournaments or any gaming tournaments, really. In the UK, we pretty much suck in terms of, you know, gaming real events. If any game event is staged anywhere, it'd probably be in London, which I don't live there, so that obviously rules me out of any tournament level play there. The only real gaming thing I've been to that's in the UK is the Eurogamer Expo. That was back in 2013, and I haven't gone since because I don't have the people to go with or the funds to even pay for it. So unfortunately I haven't really been since, but that was an experience I'll never forget. I finally went to a gaming convention. But anyway, back to Tekken. So as you probably would have guessed, I'm kind of, with me, I'm going to go in as an experienced player, but nowhere near tournament level play or the way the Japanese play fighting games. So I'm really kind of going to this more with experience rather than any skill, which is basically me anyway. But to be fair, Tekken as a series hasn't really changed that much. The good thing about Tekken is it has pretty much not changed. Some things have changed, some moves have changed. Jin Kazama had a complete moveset change in Tekken 4 due to his storyline. But for the most part, Tekken has relatively remained the same since its inception. So at least when I go into this game, I'm going to feel familiar and kind of right at home because, like I said, I've owned almost every other Tekken game. I did also play Tekken Revolution as well. There was a free-to-play game on PS3, but it wasn't really free-to-play, was it? You know, I think with Tekken Revolution, they tried to kind of give you the being an arcade feel with it, you know, with the token system and then premium cards, and then you could buy other premium cards and things like that. So it wasn't really free to play. It was kind of free to play for about 2 hours, or about maybe even half an hour, depending on how many matches you had, because you had to win to unlock premium tickets to keep playing. So it was free to play for about half an hour, and then you had to wait until your coins replenished and all that stuff. So I didn't really feel it with that game, and I don't think it really had many characters either, or there was a way to unlock characters that I wasn't particularly fond of. Maybe it wasn't really packed; it was more randomized. And I just didn't like it for whatever reason. I just didn't like the way that game was set up. So that was unfortunate. But at least with Tekken 7, it's going to launch as a full-fledged Tekken game with all the kind of Tekken features, which we'll kind of go through right now. And we're going to start with the story mode. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tekken 7 has a full-fledged story mode. Now, Tekken has always had a storyline which involves the Machinima bloodline. I need to be careful there when I don't say Machinima by accident. I'm going to get those two confused for a while. But the Machinima bloodline has always been kind of the main focus in Tekken. You know, with in Tekken 1, Heihachi throws Kazuya in a volcano, and then he comes back. I think he did it as a kid before Tekken 1, and then in the tournament, Kazuya then throws Heihachi into a volcano, which he then climbs back out of, and then does the same to Kazuya again in Tekken 3. No, Tekken 2. Kazuya's not in Tekken 3, and then he comes out of the volcano in Tekken 4, and then we go through the whole process again. It involves a lot of fighting and throwing people in volcanoes, this storyline, for whatever reason. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but... And then obviously you learn that in Tekken 5, Jinpachi appears. He was a hard son of a bitch. And then he appeared, and then I think this is actually touted as the last game in the Mishima Bloodline story. Like, holy damn, we've had what, 9 games more or less in this kind of series. We've had about 10 games in the Mishima Bloodline story, and it's finally coming to an end mainstream for this one. And I'm really excited for a couple of reasons. Number one is because this story mode is a lot like something out of MKX, MK9, Injustice 2 sort of thing. It's not like the Tekken Force from Tekken 3, or the Jin story in Tekken 5, or the story that involved Alyssa and Lars in Tekken 6. It's more like Injustice 2, MK9, MKX, where you just fight from beginning to end, and pivotal points at the pivotal points in the Mishima Bloodline tale, basically, because that's the whole thing with Tekken 7. I think we're going to play through the entire series, the most pivotal points that we're going to take part in. I believe one of those pivotal points is the Tekken 5 intro. I'm not sure if this is correct or not, but from what I've seen, I believe there is a segment in the story that is the Tekken 5 intro, where, if you remember that awesome kick-ass intro, it was kick-ass, by the way, that intro, I loved it. It was so, like, adrenaline filled for the rest of the game. Basically, Kazuya and Heihachi, after the defeat by Jin at the end of 4, they wake up from being knocked out, and basically a whole bunch of Jack robots invade the Machinima dojo in order to take them out, and Heihachi and Kazuya are actually fighting the Jack robots for a small amount of time. You actually get to play that segment as Kazuya and Heihachi. So basically, I think you start with Kazuya first, take out about 3 or 4 Jack robots, and then you do the same thing with Heihachi. So you actually get to play that segment rather than watch it. So that's really cool, because that was a really cool Tekken intro. That's probably the best Tekken intro of the entire series, actually. So, but that's about all I know in terms of the story. It's going to be very interesting, this one, for another reason, and that reason is because Akuma, the favorite Street Fighter character, is in this game. Yes, he was announced at E3, and I was looking at the screen like, how the hell did they manage that? Akuma is part of Street Fighter canon. How on earth does this work? And they've done a really good job. They've actually put Akuma as part of the story. Basically, Kazumi Mishima, which is Heihachi's wife, and obviously mother to Kazuya, I believe. Basically, Akuma at some point in the story meets up with her and takes a promise from her to kill Heihachi and Kazuya. And they actually did a really good job of fledging that in, you know? It's like, wow, Akuma, who's not really been part of Tekken at all, is just so randomly in this game, but they've done it so well considering how random he is. I really like that. And my theory when it comes to Akuma, and this is a really interesting point here, my theory is that with Akuma now part of the Tekken canon, because this is Tekken canon by the way, so now Akuma is now officially part of the Tekken canon storyline. So, does that mean, with Akuma in this, like, full-fledged, he's a fighter, he's available to be picked in the game as well, you can actually fight as him online, offline, wherever. He's actually a full-fledged character in this game. So, does that give a glimmer of hope for Tekken Cross Street Fighter? Now, if you remember back in 2013, Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out, and it was a really good game. I was really lucky to get hold of it because Capcom were going through financial troubles at the time, and it was very hard to find 2 games that month. It came out in March, I think, of 2013, and those 2 games were Tekken Cross Street Fighter and Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. They were very hard to get hold of. I remember them being very, very difficult. I was very lucky to get hold of them because Capcom were having some troubles at the time or something like that, I remember. And I really enjoyed Tekken Cross Street Fighter. I thought it was great because I had a kind of semi-love for Street Fighter at that point because I played a lot of Street Fighter 4 with Jury, and obviously a lover of the Tekken series overall. It felt like a match made in heaven for me, and it was a really good game, really intricate system, and really much like Tekken Tag Tournament. So, you know, it was great. But sadly, the online was so kind of broken with audio bugs and lag, and they obviously patched the game to make it better, as you saw in my fighting game kind of madness with Street Fighter Cross Tekken that I mentioned earlier. It was actually much better, and I actually did really well in the game. In that set, I think won a lot of matches actually. But unfortunately, the game was pretty much dead after 6 months, sadly. And yes, it's on PC, but I think the game's pretty much dead, so I didn't really bother buying it, unfortunately. But it was a really underrated game that sadly died a bit too quickly. But, and the funny thing is, it was announced that there was going to be a game the other way. It's going to be Tekken Cross Street Fighter. It was going to be basic, whereas Street Fighter is more 2D, traditional kind of cel-shaded graphics. The Tekken Cross Street Fighter game was going to be Tekken's graphics engine, with Tekken's way of fighting, 3D, environmental walls, and things like that. And it was going to have the likes of Ryu and Ken and Bison and Guile and Jury and all those characters probably from Street Fighter Cross Tekken in the Tekken setup, and it never arrived. I was like, oh my god, like it just vanished. Obviously, I think it's probably the low sales of Street Fighter Cross Tekken in a way, maybe because I don't think it sold that well. Sadly, I think it was the low sales that kind of contributed to that. But like I said, now Akuma is in this game. Are they bringing it back? It was never officially cancelled, guys. It was never officially cancelled. It just fell off the radar. No one really bothered to really do it after that. But now Akuma's in this game. Does that mean there's a little bit of glimmer of hope that one day it will exist? Can you, like, the graphics are so gush-worthy in this game. They are beautiful. Can you imagine with this engine what characters like Ryu and Kami and Ken and Bison and Guile would look like? It would be absolutely insane. I would love that game to come out. I would love it. It would feel familiar. It would be really strange playing a Street Fighter character in a Tekken setup. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But I would love that game to come out. I really would. I really would love that game, and I think so a lot of other people too. You know, Street Fighter V has not had the best of launches. Didn't have the best of launches. It's getting better. The Season 2 characters, I'll just say this quickly, are actually better than I thought they would be. That's all I really say on that, because I don't really want to talk about Street Fighter that much, because it's not the purpose of the video, but I would love Tekken Cross Street Fighter to be given another chance and to come out. I would absolutely love it. Get it done, please. I really want to see that game, and it would just be great. It would just be terrific. I would just love that game. So get it done, please. There is a glimmer of hope now. Akuma's part of the Tekken canon, basically. Let's talk about Akuma for a minute, because Akuma is going to feel really kind of unusual, because Akuma, believe it or not, is going to play exactly like his Street Fighter counterpart. So basically, in a Tekken game, you're going to have to do Dragon Punch motions, and let's be fair, Tekken really isn't focused on motions as such. You know, I don't think anybody has a move where you have to press corner circle forward punch to do something, to do an uppercut. There are certain times, I think Kazuya's kind of dash forward Dragon Punch uppercut sort of thing, but for the most part, it's mostly a button presser. It's not a button masher, because you're going to get nowhere by mashing in this game. Even though it probably feels and looks like a button masher at times, Tekken, you need to be intricate with your inputs of the face buttons, basically. So you may think it's a button masher to a degree, but you're going to get nowhere. You need to be more precise with your button presses to do the more advanced stuff. But with Akuma in this game, he's going to play exactly like his Street Fighter counterpart. So you're going to have to do corner circle punch to throw fireballs, corner circle back kick to do tatsus, Dragon Punch motions to do uppercut or Dragon Punch. It's going to be really strange. He's even got his demon. You can even do his demon if you do his, I think his Rage Art. I'll talk about that in a moment. His Rage Art is his demon move, and his super is kind of like Ryu's, I think. But yeah, he even has a super meter. Believe it or not, Akuma has a super meter, so you can EX moves. You can do super. You can do demon. It's gonna feel so weird to Tekken veterans who have never played Street Fighter before. With Akuma, those people are gonna have to learn a very different moveset for a while. He's probably the most unique character in this game on that alone, to be fair, and I'm really kind of glad they did that. And because I've played a lot of Street Fighter and a lot of Shodo / Akuma, I know what to do. I know what to do to get those inputs to come out and work. So when I do my Akuma madness, because I'm certainly going to, my specific character madness for Akuma, when I eventually do that, I am most certainly going to feel a lot more comfortable, because I've played a lot of Street Fighter. But those that only really focus on Tekken, he's going to feel a bit weird at first, and it's going to be a real mishmash of, he's a very unusual style, and I can't wait to check that out. That's going to be really unusual at first, to play a 3D Tekken fighting game as a Street Fighter character with a Street Fighter like moveset. That is going to feel really strange, even to me at first. You know, I'm probably going to be pressing buttons and inputs, trying to do a combo and think, oh no, I've actually got to do inputs to do this move. I think, yeah, Akuma's just so unique. I'm so glad they put him in the game, and so glad that they actually made him work. You know, it's like the alien in Mortal Kombat X. They actually made him work. That's insane. And I can't wait for that. So Akuma is definitely the big one when it comes to things new in Tekken 7. And obviously you've got other new characters like Jossie, I believe, is another one. There's a guy who's basically Discount Rashid. I think his name's Sahim or something. He's basically Discount Rashid. It looks exactly like Rashid from Street Fighter 5. I think the most unusual of the bunch is Lucky Chloe. I think she's going to be everyone's kind of new Tekken bae, but at the same time, she's going to be completely weird. She's going to be basically Hakan from Super Street Fighter 4 when he was introduced in Street Fighter 4, and you face the Hakan, and he has such a unusual moveset. I remember Darkside Phil having a Hakan madness and no one knowing what to do with it, because no one ever used Hakan, because he was just too weird, and everyone ended up losing to him. Lucky Chloe's going to be a bit like that. She's going to be a bit really unusual. And people are going to be sitting there like, what the fuck do I do to counter this shit? So yeah, that's something I can't wait for. I can't really remember all the new characters off the top of my head. Obviously you've got fan favorites like Paul Phoenix, King. I don't think Armor King's in it, which kind of annoys me. I prefer Armor King slightly to King, but I love King, he's awesome. Basically, my mains for Tekken 2 and 3 were Paul Phoenix and King, and then from Tekken 4 it's been pretty much Steve Fox, because I have a thing for boxing characters, I guess. You know, I love boxing characters. I love Dudley in Street Fighter 4, so, and I love Ed's moveset as well in Street Fighter 5, just to bring that up a little bit. He looks very easy, but almost so really fun at the same time. I'll check him out eventually, don't worry, I won't check that out, but again, let's focus back to Tekken. So, I can't remember all the new characters off the top of my head, but there's some very noticeable admissions too. There's like, Kudemitsu's missing, Lei I don't think is in the game, and Anna Williams isn't in it yet either. Anna Williams, like really, you've got Nina Williams, and Anna Williams and Lei have been pretty much there since Tekken 1, so what are they not doing in this game? Now, just to bring this up, Tekken 7 does have a Season Pass, so I think we'll see them later, you know, because Season Pass content, characters, modes, you know, basic Season Pass stuff. And actually, if you pre-order the game, you get you get one feature, like a character. You get the character Eliza, I'm not sure how to pronounce it yet. But basically, she's a vampire. She's very much like Mira. She looks awesome, by the way, as well. But if you play the PlayStation 4 mode version specifically, which is the one you're looking at right now, I'll talk more about that kind of thing in a moment. On the PlayStation 4 version, I'm not sure if you had to buy the deluxe to get this or you just get it regardless, but on the PS4 version you get this jukebox mode now, or jukebox kind of thing. It's not really, I guess it is a mode, to a way. And basically, what this jukebox is very similar to Tekken Tag Tournament 2. You remember this kind of Tekken Tunes mode, Tekken Tunes thing, where you got to customize the Tekken Tag Tournament 2 soundtrack with various tracks from other games. In Tekken Tag Tournament 2 you had to pay for them, which I thought was kind of bullshit, but fortunately with this game they're all unlocked from the get-go. It's basically the same thing, so basically every single track, almost every single track from every single Tekken game bar Dark Resurrection, I don't think that was included, but Tekken Revolution was, which just kind of confused me a little bit. But you know, it's a Tekken game, I suppose. It's part of Tekken lore, so why not? But basically, yeah, every single track from every single Tekken game is available for you to pick and to listen to or customize in the Tekken 7 soundtrack. So basically, say you're in round 1 of a match, and you pick round 1 to be the unknown boss music from Tekken Tag Tournament 1. You can then go into either it's in round 2 or a Strange Tangent, I'm not sure, but there's going to be another situation where it will then change to a Tekken 5 piece of music. That is a really awesome feature, and it was an instant buy for me on the PlayStation 4. But unfortunately, it's not on the PC or Xbox versions, which I can really understand why that's going to really annoy people, because it's such an awesome feature. Basically, I think this Tekken 4 is going to have, like, Tekken on the PS4 pretty much has everything for Tekken Tag Tournament 2. So a movie theater where you get to view all the Tekken and like previous Tekken endings in the arcade mode, the intros to the games, the endings to the games, and it's a whole Tekken memorabilia, this game, at least on the PS4. I'm not sure the Xbox One PC versions has the movie theater in it, but I know for a fact that it's there and you can view everything. It's basically a Tekken memorabilia, and it can be so great to just look through that when I'm like either uploading videos or kind of editing videos or stuff like that. It's gonna be cool to sit through all that, and like I said, as a Tekken kid, that's awesome. So yeah, I can't wait to experience that. I think that's pretty much it. You're obviously going to have everything from launch. You're going to have your arcade mode, your story mode, your customization mode. The customization's back. I'll probably delve into that quite a lot, actually, because I don't normally in fighting games, but with Injustice 2, you're not forced to do it, but, you know, you get some cool stuff. With Tekken, it's probably going to be a lot easier to unlock colors. You can just buy them with the fight money you earn during the game, so we can do that. So it's going to be a lot easier to unlock stuff that way. Yeah, I think it pretty much launches with pretty much everything, and it'll have some post-launch content with the Season Pass, one could hope. I hope the Season Pass works better in this game than it did for Street Fighter 5. And that's pretty much it. So it's going to have a stonker of a launch with all the stuff you should expect in fighting games, which is good. You know, Street Fighter really could have taken some notes from this and other fighting games, really. And let's not forget, Street Fighter 5 still doesn't. I don't think it's going to have an arcade mode, quite frankly. I don't think it's going to bother with it now. It's like Tekken's doing things right. And I don't want to turn this into a fanboyish fetish of like how Tekken is better than Street Fighter, because like I said, I want Tekken cross Street Fighter to exist. So I'm not going to turn this into a fanboy thing, even though I have played every Tekken game. So, you know, you probably could say I'm a little bit of a fanboy, but more in the fact that, you know, I play other fighting games as well. You guys have seen it, so I'm not a total fanboy sort of thing where I think Tekken's the best thing ever, because, like I said, when Tekken 5 and 6 and Tekken Tag Tournament 2 launched, I didn't particularly like those games to a degree. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 got better with time, and I never really played Tekken 6 as much as you probably think I would have. So that's pretty much it in terms of the game. We've gone for half an hour already, I do apologise. So the one last thing we'll talk about is my plans for the game. So obviously on Twitch TV, in about 8.5 hours time, you will see some 0-hour gameplay on Twitch as the game goes live all around the world. So I'll do a 0-hour gameplay to kind of fill it out a little bit. And what I'm going to do for that 0-hour gameplay in particular is actually bring back my fight stick. You guys will remember from a set of Ultra Street Fighter 4 that I did with a fight stick that I newly purchased, my Hori fight stick I think it was. I didn't do too well, but I didn't do horrendously. I think I won about maybe 2 or 3, 4 matches, but I made some progress with it. Now unfortunately that was about a year or so ago, so I haven't really used it since. Because if you know me, you know that I don't really use peripherals in games that much, but I thought, why not? Let's bring it back for Tekken 7. Let's see if I can kind of use it efficiently and see how it goes with the 0-hour gameplay. I might try it with the story mode as well, because obviously I'm going to stream and record the story mode, because I can do that with the Elgato HD60 Pro. So if you miss it on stream, it will obviously be uploaded on YouTube at a later time. Probably it will be tomorrow, because it's a new game. I need to get it out there as quick as possible, I guess. It makes sense. And Tekken's my game, so why not? I might try using the fight stick with the story mode. If I really struggle, I'll go back to controller. But yeah, I'm going to try and use my fight stick. I'm going to try and use it, put some use into it. Because like I said, Tekken isn't really input centric. So it might be easier on me, because as you know, I have cerebral palsy, which affects my left side the most. And obviously that's going to be a problem when moving the movement stick. I didn't do too badly. I messed up on inputs for Street Fighter 4, but I didn't do very well either. I kind of sucked, but at the same time I kind of made some kind of reasonable progress. But we'll bring it back for Tekken 7. I haven't used it in a while, but we'll bring it back and we'll see how we go with that. Obviously we'll get a stream of the story mode, and then I will be streaming the heck out of this game online. If the netcode holds up, it should do. I have a feeling that even if it doesn't at launch, it'll be patched later. And I think sooner or later, if it hasn't already, I reckon Tekken will go for a GGPO netcode similar to what NetherRealm Studios use or Street Fighter uses. I really think that at some point or another, Tekken will use that netcode, because it is almost flawless, that netcode. It should be the standard, I think. It should be the kind of standard netcode that everyone uses. Maybe it already does. Maybe Tekken 7 already does that. Who knows? But yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of coverage of this game, because Tekken is my game. It's my shit. Just so to speak. You know, it's my game. It's been my game with Sonic the Hedgehog. It is one of those games, like I said, that I've bought every game of the series for. I have a lot of experience with it. And now I finally get to finally actually really do share it with you guys. I'm not expecting to be ultra good at it. I'm not expecting to be tournament level at it. Even if I was, I wouldn't have anywhere to go, because I live in the UK, but I'm hoping to be at least semi-good. You know, probably on the level of Killer Instinct. I think I probably should be a little bit better, knowing my experience as well. Maybe a little bit better than I am at Killer Instinct, but that's because Killer Instinct was new to me at the time I played it. Anyway, I'm probably going to go, because it's gone on for half an hour, but I expected this to be a long one because I had so much to talk about with this game. It's a series I've loved since pretty much day one of my gaming life, pretty much. It's this and Sonic the Hedgehog were pretty much my launch pads. Tekken 2 and Sonic the Hedgehog were my launch pads for gaming. With Tekken, it's a bit of a what if, because I'm not sure if I played Mortal Kombat before or after, but to my memory, Tekken 2 was my game that I played with my mother the most. So I'm going to class Tekken 2 as my kind of one of my pathways into fighting games, let alone games in general. And like I said, I did play a lot of Tekken, but not as much as I did. And then I really got into fighting games after playing Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct was kind of my launch pad for my kind of fighting game craze I've gone through over the last few years. Killer Instinct was kind of the launch pad of that. And that's another reason why I can't wait for Tekken as well. I'm much more kind of, not skilled, I guess, but my experience will count in other fighting games will count for something more. And now that I'm older and a little bit better, I suppose, and I do have that little bit of experience with Tekken Tournament 2 as well, so my experience will count for a lot here. So anyway, I'm going to go because this video has gone way too long already. I do apologize, but like I said, this is one of those games where I could go really in depth for. I think Sonic Mania will be the same when that eventually comes out, but that's for another day. So we have 8 hours, 21 minutes, and 35 seconds left to wait. Obviously, a bit shorter time when you eventually see this preview, which I'll upload immediately after finishing recording, which I'm going to do right now because this video has gone far too long. So I do apologize for that, and I will see you in pretty much 8 hours for the zero launch gameplay of Tekken 7. I hope to see you all there on stream. I hope to have some matches with you guys. I'm always open to viewer matches and requests and things. Please don't be afraid to challenge me if you want to improve your win-loss record, because I'm going to get bodied a lot of the time. I will see you guys on stream and on the game. Peace out for now. I'm the7chaos signing off. See you later.